More smoke from the Australian bushfires and more of those windy westerlies for New Zealand. Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. We've got another burst of smoke coming out of New South Wales, caught up in this nor'wester, which is coming through later on Wednesday and overnight tonight into early Thursday. The good news is it's followed behind by a sou'wester that'll clear away any conditions, just in case you are worried about dealing with asthma or anything like that. And the other bit of good news is we hope that most of the smoke is much higher up in the atmosphere. So let's take a look at the air quality conditions around New Zealand and Eastern Australia. Dark green is good, so that's why a bit of a relief to see all of New Zealand in that dark green zone, just like Tasmania. We've got the windy conditions blowing most of that smoke away. There is some out at sea. I don't expect New Zealand to really be impacted by it, but you can certainly see Australia is. Yellow means moderate air pollution levels, and orange, which you can see in a couple of areas, that is deemed as unhealthy. So let's take a look at what is going on once we get to Thursday. So that area with the smoke in it is really out here by the time we get to Thursday, and the new wind flow, the west to southwest wind, is pulling in clean air from the Southern Ocean straight across New Zealand. So that will be welcome, but it'll bring in a little burst of rain or showers to the north. It won't be a huge amount, 5 to 10 millimetres maybe. Some of you might get a little bit more than that. And the west coast, more of the heavy rain off and on continues for you, and a little bit cooler down around the south, mostly around coastal Southland and coastal Otago as a result of that change just coming through on Thursday. And on Friday, it's still a little bit cool, but look at this windy change coming through. There's a big low in the Southern Ocean that's encouraging stronger winds as you go north, where there's high pressure. So really, typical spring weather as we end the working week with windy westerlies, somewhat subtropical for the very north of New Zealand. Otherwise, it's fairly average to slightly warmer than average. As we go into the weekend, the subtropical flow comes back over a big chunk of the country, and those winds, at least the isobars, they squash up around the central part of New Zealand, so blustery conditions there. More low pressure. There's a lot of low pressure in the Southern Ocean at the moment that's encouraging the rain on the west coast and showers and sometimes cooler weather off and on around Southland. And in fact, as we saw yesterday, it went nationwide, that cooler change. Now, as we go through the weekend, no real changes on Sunday. It's still a bit showery. We've still got low pressure down here in the Southern Ocean, and the winds are still blustery around central New Zealand. And our final map for Monday shows high pressure building out here in the Tasman. A few showers lingering around here and there. Otherwise, not a lot going on, to be honest with you. And next week, there is a fair bit of high pressure, but it's also not that high. Like the actual air pressure itself is very close to average. If you look, some of the lines you're seeing around here, 10, 18, average air pressure is about 10, 12, 10, 13. So you're not really looking at a solid high. So that means next week just might be a little more changeable than we realise. We'll be locking in next week's forecast with more details, though, at the end of this week. That's all from me. We'll see you again tomorrow with the latest.